Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you today. Welcome along. This is a 12 by 12 layout share for Kitaholic Kits, and this is from the November 2023 kit. Now I tend to find that there will sometimes be elements of a paper collection or a kit or an element that kind of, what I like to describe it, is it speaks to you. So it's straight away, as soon as you look at it, it gives you an idea of how you want to use a particular product. Now this foiled stripy patterned paper is the one that spoke to me first this month, and I knew straight away that I wanted to get quite textural with the background and do that in the form of cutting these little strips of the patterned paper and then folding them or rolling them on itself. Now I had sort of thought that I would get more of the colour from those stripes. So you can see that I'm folding them back onto the whites of themselves so that you can actually see the colour. And the white at the top was just a little bit too white for me. I wanted more of those stripes. So I'm actually going to do something just a little bit tricky here, and I'm going to trim that patterned paper and then lay it over the top of where I've rolled those little foil rolls. So giving the paper a little bit of a trim, and I'm going to, pop that down over on top of itself so that I've actually got more of that sort of paper poking through, and you can see that I'm just rolling them in different dimensions. So some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, some of the rolls are quite tight, some of them are a little bit more loose, but this, I really like the way that this has created that sort of textural element on the background of the layout. So I've chosen a photo and had a bit of a think. I'm not very good with central clusters on my layout, but because this photo was quite balanced in that it's of husband with the two kids sitting either side, so it's quite a symmetrical photo, I felt like it was suited quite well to actually sit central on the page. So this was quite a challenge for me because I'm more of a left or right or an upper or lower kind of scrapper. I'm not necessarily all about a central cluster, but this one, the photo again spoke to me and gave me some direction on how I felt the layout should travel, and this is the way that we're going to roll with it. All right, happy with my background, so I decide that the stripes needed to continue on just a touch further, and to do that I've pulled out my watercolours and I'm just mimicking those sort of colours as close as I can to create this almost like a waterfall background to sit behind my little paper curls. So I'm just watering down my watercolours until I'm reaching a colour that is quite subtle, and you can see I'm just following that down from the patterned paper until such time as I'm quite happy with how this looks, using the different colours and sort of mixing them together and getting enough water in there so that they're subtle and not overpowering that stripy background. So this was purely just to enhance what I had going on with the paper, just adding a little bit of extra interest, but I think it's quite fun and I really like how it looks. Once I'm happy, I'm just going to use a little bit of that leftover colour on my little tear-off pad there, and I'm just going to, just pop a little bit of splatter into that background as well. All right, the next stage is to build the cluster around my photo. So at the moment, I'm very attached to my distressing tool, so I'm using various different pattern papers. And I'm going to distress the edges around the outside. I really am finding that this is creating some really great texture in my background. So pull out the distressing tool if you haven't used yours for a little while. I would definitely recommend. And this is where I sort of started to struggle with the layout a little bit. As I said, I'm not much of a central cluster person. So you can see I try to move it around. I try to build areas of interest over to the left and the right and try to work out just how I'm going to enhance and embellish this first page. So I end up building a little bit of clustering on each side. So I've got the little half frame, a little tag and some florals. These little white flowers really grabbed my attention, particularly as I'd created this background. I felt that they would add some really fun texture down in that bottom section. They are super subtle, so they're not really supposed to stand out, but you can just see that they add that little bit of a pop of white over that watercolor background. All right, now I hadn't used any black, but I felt that the layout just needed something to anchor it that tiny little bit. So I've pulled out a washi tape, added a little torn layer and popped that above my color. And I think that this really does make it pop. And as I said, just anchors it that little bit, brings it really right down and draws the eye to all the separate elements that we've got going on. Final stages of this layout, you can see I've added a couple of little florals, a few little stickers. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and stick everything down, but I have an idea at the bottom of the page that I want to just, again, bring in that central element. So I'm going to tear a little strip, add some color pattern paper behind it, bringing this all together and then adding my title, which is just simply the little X and the O above that torn strip. So I really had fun with this one. I hope that you will really thoroughly enjoy what I've got going on here. It's something so different from me, and I'm always trying to inspire in my scrapping. So this hopefully will do that. And if you're inspired to scrap lift, please do and share it with me. Thank you for watching.